Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking a really startling critique of global military strategies by Professor Ted Postel. Honestly, his analysis takes our most fundamental assumptions about global security and just completely flips them on their head.
So think about this for a second. We often assume our military defense shields are, practically impenetrable. We hear about all these highly advanced systems and just naturally assume that the populations living beneath them are entirely safe. But what if the data proves that belief is just a dangerous illusion? What if the technological safety nets we completely rely on aren't actually functioning the way we've been told?
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the illusion of security, escalation in the Middle East, the human cost in Ukraine, the missile intercept reality, and finally, the danger of misinformation. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. The illusion of security. Challenging assumptions.
To really grasp the stakes of Postel's argument, we have to look closely at modern ballistic capabilities. And look, we aren't talking about minor skirmishes here. We are talking about the capacity of a state to deliver explosive payloads over huge distances using guided, high-speed projectiles. These things move at speeds that literally defy human reaction times, carrying potentially catastrophic payloads.
Moving to Section 2. Escalation in the Middle East. Triggers and threats.
When Postel applies his critical lens to the Middle East, he sees a powder keg that is essentially primed by these exact technological blind spots. He points out a really high potential for a U.S.-Iran conflict. According to his analysis, Israel's role in escalating regional tensions, combined with Iran's rapidly growing ballistic capabilities, means the threat of catastrophic damage to Israeli cities isn't just some theoretical exercise anymore. It is a very imminent reality.
Which brings us to Section 3, the human cost in Ukraine, policies and destruction.
Shifting from the Middle East over to Eastern Europe, Postel maintains that exact same analytical focus on the devastating realities of modern conflict. Here he offers a direct, data-driven critique of both United States and NATO policies. Without taking political sides, his analysis draws a straight line from high-level geopolitical decision-making to the severe human cost and widespread destruction we are seeing on the ground throughout Ukraine.
All right, Section 4, the missile intercept reality, uncovering the numbers.
Now, before we look at the actual data, we absolutely must define our terms. The interception rate is basically the percentage of incoming hostile targets, like those ballistic missiles we just talked about, that are successfully destroyed by defense systems before they can reach their target. This definition is vital because this rate is the primary metric that leaders use to justify their confidence in national security. It's kind of the number that helps politicians sleep at night.
10%. This right here is the absolute crux of Postel's entire proof. Despite the towering confidence we constantly see projected by military brass on television, the actual interception rate sits at a staggering, dismal 10%. To put that into perspective, for every 10 incoming projectiles, only 1 is actually stopped. 9 get through.
The disparity here is just incredibly dangerous. Postel proves that while a very high missile intercept rate is claimed by leaders to project this aura of technological superiority and impenetrable defense shields, the proven reality is that it is actually quite low. We are looking at extremely low effectiveness. A 10% interception rate leaves major cities and millions of civilians totally vulnerable beneath a shattered shield.
And that leads perfectly into Section 5, the danger of misinformation, blind geopolitics.
So how exactly does a 10% success rate tie directly into global instability? Well, Postel concludes we aren't just facing a tech failure, we're facing a massive information crisis. There's severe misinformation and a real lack of understanding among political and military leaders regarding actual defense technologies. The people making the most consequential decisions on Earth are often operating on fundamentally flawed, wildly optimistic data.
You can see the domino effect happening here, right? Step 1, leaders dramatically overestimate intercept rates. Step 2, that breeds a totally false sense of security. And Step 3, cloaked in this illusion, the risk of unnecessary geopolitical escalation rises. They escalate conflicts based on a safety net that is mostly just air.
So I will leave you with this final, vital question to think about. If the technological safety net preventing catastrophic damage is essentially a myth, if that intercept rate is truly hovering around a mere 10%, how urgently do we need to rethink our global diplomatic strategies? When we strip away the illusion of the impenetrable shield, diplomacy and de-escalation are no longer just options. They're pretty much the only real defense we have. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.